I'm Kiana Sage from Kiana.com. And today is part 3 of the narcissist, and it's a special topic about the narcissist and MPD, which is an acronym for multiple personality disorder. Now, I saved this one. As I mentioned, the narcissist series could go on and on and on. It's so huge, but there are a few key things that is helpful for you in your awareness, in your alignment, is that the ego is critical. If you are not disciplined within the mind, it can easily be a vulnerability for some really unfortunate situations. And the one I'm going to describe today is probably one of the more difficult because it's an extreme disconnection. So, an, the run of the mill narcissists are functioning in society, in everyday corporate work, in families, and so forth. The supreme narcissist, the multiple personality disorder narcissist, um, is essentially a description of what is called a super narcissist. Now, not every narcissist is a super narcissist. The super narcissist is a super special person who lives in a delusion of their own creation. They live in lies upon lies upon lies, and there's hardly ever a diagnosis for these types of people because they fool practitioners in their manipulations. So, with that said, for your own personal awareness, a super narcissist, the biggest issues that you will find with them is that they're very controlling, um, about all types of things that don't logically make sense to most people. And this is the thing that you need to be aware of, is that they, they hook you in the mind, and then you're constantly trying to understand how, understand why, understand and give it meaning. And that's where you get hooked, is in the mind. So it's really important to understand that your most vulnerable aspects in creating inner alignment for yourself is going to be an undisciplined mind. And a lot of people think they're disciplined because they work out a lot, or that they can really get a project done, or that is not discipline. Control is not discipline. Discipline is really an ability to create stillness within. That's how you create a disciplined mind, because when you have stillness within, your thoughts do not control your behaviors or your actions. You are attuned to a different frequency, essentially, and you will operate on a different level than most people that you encounter. Um, okay, so multiple personality disorders, we know they lie a lot, they tell lots of stories, they believe them all as if they were true and they happened. And you won't be able to get them out of their delusion. So, the reason why it's important for you to have recognition of what this is because most people who have these types of people in their lives, you know, they're used to the drama, you're used to the craziness, you're used to um, them being that way. And that becomes normal, to accept dysfunction as a part of your relationship. And that acceptance of dysfunction is essentially what keeps you hooked into the patterns of dysfunction and keeps you hooked into going back and repeating patterns of cycles in which you actually are re-triggering those unhealed wounds. So, having an awareness that you can't save these people, that's not even your job, by the way. That's not your job to save people from themselves. People who are chronically disconnected, which is what a narcissist is. It's a disconnection of the mind from the body and the soul. And especially the heart. But when you're talking about somebody who has an MPD disorder, they also create these stories and scenarios in which they're the ruler of that whole situation and the scenario and all the players. And if you're a player, it's very dangerous. Um, but the players usually don't understand the complexity of the danger unless their actual physical life has been disrupted or put in damage or danger, like a life-threatening situation. But when the emotional abuse is so traumatic, it's actually diminished because they haven't been threatened physically. Physical threats absolutely come along with this scenario. Whether it's gotten to that with you or not, it depends on how you would associate a physical threat. If you're in fear a lot and you're not even aware that you're in fear a lot, that would mean that your physical being is threatened, but you're just not consciously um, connected to those threats. That doesn't mean the threat's not there because physically you're always responding. So if your fight or flight is always on, it's going to change how you are relating to these types of people. And anytime your nervous system is hyperactivated, it changes how your chemistry works within your body, which changes how you can be aligned within. Okay. So there's a few things that are important for you to know. One, it's just that these people exist and not every narcissist is a super narcissist. So don't associate them all. Just be aware that they all have patterns and you need to identify the patterns that you have with these people so you can start to disentangle from them. That would be one recommendation, is to become disentangled. And how do you do that? You do that through recognizing your patterns and changing your behavior in relationship to them. Knowing that, number two, you can't change their behavior. So your job is to just accept them as they are. And that is the beginning of your healing. Stop trying to change how they treat you, how you feel around them, all of those things. When you accept it all. And that's when you have a point of power within yourself to make adjustments. And the third thing that is important to understand with these people is that they would not be in your life or in your conscious relationships, in your healing path, if it weren't a big aspect for you to address within yourself. So, doing ego work is really important. And as I mentioned before, I don't even like to do it with people until they've gone through my programs. And the reason is because the defense mechanisms with the ego are so incredibly strong, and the ego constantly is defending to keep things as they are. So if you can imagine, you don't even have the disorder. You're not even a narcissist. You just happen to be in a relationship with one and you have these things. So the ego is always defending where you are to keep things status quo. The soul wants to evolve beyond the ego. What you want to create is balance. So if you're really serious about the spiritual journey, um, you'll want to do a lot of meditation, but you really want to identify your unhealed wounds, and work with somebody who is absolutely skilled in helping you through that so you can move through rapidly. Now, I come across people who have gotten stuck with therapists and they get in a loop. So, the duration of therapy does not equal healing. So you need to find the right person that's going to work for you. If it's not somebody like me, it's somebody else. And it all depends on what you are looking to achieve. If you want to have more peace, more freedom, more ease, you definitely want to address what these unhealed wounds are. And, it could take a couple weeks, it could take a couple months, could take a couple years. It depends on how you choose to move forward. But what's most important is that you're on the path to healing and that you have the awareness of these things that are running undercurrents in your energy. And if you realize that we are an energy current system and we're all running frequencies, once you identify that you can run at a higher frequency, it makes it easier to look at the stuff that's not so pleasant because you're not using your mind to heal it. You're using consciousness, and your mind tends to make assumptions and ideas and judgments about wounds, give stories to them. When you're in the real, true healing spiritual journey, those ideas that your mind thinks, those are nothing compared to what the vastness of consciousness can help you with. So don't get stuck in your thoughts and your ideas and your judgments and your stories. And really just know that every person that's on your path is a gift to you. Whether you take the time to realize what gift they're showing you is up to you. So for me, when I'm having lots of people come to me who have this behavior, this narcissistic attraction, that is not saying anything bad about them. What that means is that they're at a pivotal point of evolution, and how they move forward is determined by the path that they make, those conscious choices. So, cheers to being in sync. Cheers to making a conscious choice to heal. And I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. Have a great day.